everyone, I'm Jess. I'm from nsquared, and we've been working with the Surface Hub for quite a bit now, and I'll leave it to Neil to showcase what we've been doing later on, but I just thought I'd tell you guys why we're holding this user group and what we're expecting to get out of this initial user group. So the reason why we're having this user group is to show you exactly what the Surface Hub can do and how it can benefit you guys or anyone really in the workplace. And this initial user group we are holding to show you guys some of the new creators update features. And
talking, I'll take notes.
Awesome. And also what we want to gain from the future user groups that we're holding. So Phil will be speaking a bit about Creators Update and some new features and demoing some of the features as well. And also we're going to have Matt, who will be Skyping in to talk about some things that he's been working on as well. Welcome everyone. And then later on in the evening, Neil will be jumping on and telling us all about what we're doing at nsquared with the Surface Hub, which is really exciting stuff. So yeah, I'll just pass it on to Phil now.
Okay, everybody should know me. My name's Phil Clapham. I'm the Surface Hub TSP. The Surface Hub is my product. I'm supposed to know everything about it, including technical and sales. So any questions, I'm the person you come to. Now, I've kind of organised this meetup because I really wanted to engage the community, the Surface Hub community. Everybody in this room should have a Surface Hub. See what you're doing with it. You know, how are you using it? Is there things that we're doing well? Is there things that we're not doing well? I mean, this is a sort of an formal meetup, right? So I want to hear what we're doing well, what we're not doing well, things you want in, things you don't want in. I mean, just feedback everything, right? We're trying to figure out whether, although this is the first one, it's kind of by invitation only. You know, do we open it up? Do we have more meetups? Do we do it for a specific audience? And do you want to come up and talk a bit about that as well?
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk more about that in a bit, but actually
who are you, Neil?
I'm Neil, hi. Before we get into who I am, one of the things I was going to ask, you said like everyone here has a hub, but I'm curious because I know some people here don't have a hub. So who does have within their organisation Surface Hub? Okay, and who wants one? Well, not everyone who put their hands up who has one wants one. I'm confused. We've got a problem here, Phil.
Yes.
I think it's simple. We have more and we want more.
Yes.
You have more. You have some and you want more. Okay, great. Yeah. So I just wanted to get a feel for that. So I'm Neil. I work at nsquared. I also work heavily with Microsoft in Redmond at their corporate headquarters on working on how to develop on this product and supporting developers building for applications for Surface Hub. And I'll talk more about that when it's my turn to officially talk. I believe it.
Okay, so I just to give you some idea of who's in the room, we've got Bupa, stick your hand up, just so we know who you are. Yep. Bupa, Ernst & Young, CBA, Glenn, Macquarie Bank, Foxtel, Heart Research Institute. Who am I missing?
SIE Institute.
Okay. Sorry. One of the things the Hub exposes is very bad handwriting, and that's me. And we also have a couple of partners, ICOM, Telstra, and DD. Anybody missing from partner? Troy V, sorry.
Someone else do.
University of New England.
Oh, yes, UNE, okay. Okay, so...
and one more.
BII.
BI comms, okay. So there's a very good spread of customers here, and we will get some time to talk amongst yourselves about what we're doing, so cross-pollinate ideas and so on and so forth. But just some idea, feel free to talk to some of the guys from Partland as well. So, Hub-specific news. Now I was waiting for Katrina to turn up. She's the program marketing manager. She's running about 15 minutes late. So let's just go straight and talk about the local systems integrated program. Do you want to just lead off with that while I go and get Matt and Nicole?
Yeah, okay. I'm going to bring in a so the local systems integrator program is a program for predominantly for software developers that are capable of building apps and integrating technology for customers on the hub. And I don't know, are we the first one in Australia?
Yes.
So nsquared is the first official Microsoft integrator for Surface Hub in Australia, and we've been doing a few things which we'll demonstrate in a little bit. But Matt is going to call in, hopefully, from Singapore, and he runs the program for the whole of APAC, so the whole of Asia Pacific region. And he's not answering phones.
Oh, wait.
Did you put it in his calendar?
Don't do this to me. All right, we'll try him one more time. I did tell him he's going to be coming in this call, but that's fine.
If we have to work around it, we'll work around it. See if we
Oh,
can-
he's
See if we can get them all later. So I wanted to just support cases. There's a couple of support cases that are open. I know some of you are looking at me going, really? There is one around camera flickering, which I know a couple of you have got. So I just wanted to give you an update as to what is actually happening in that support case. So the issue is, the camera flickers intermittently when you're Skype for Business call. And the reason it exists is down to a driver issue on the NFC. When it comes out of sleep, the Surface Hub, the driver, something to do with the driver floods the USB bus, which caused the camera flickering issue. So we're literally getting the driver rewritten to be able to solve that problem. Now, we've done some testing with some third-party peripherals, and it doesn't occur. But so if you're in a large boardroom and you want to put a different camera in, you can't do that. But I don't have an ETA on when it's going to be fixed, but it is like top priority. It's the issue that's number one on the. We'll have we call a one list, which has got very high visibility, and I'm hoping I'll get an ETA on when it'll be fixed in the next couple of days. Okay, you can see this is the new whiteboard, right? Now, the whiteboard has been pulled. Before the whiteboard was part of the operating system of Surface Hub, Windows 10 Teams. So what's happened is, in the creators update, they pulled it out, extracted it, and it's now on the Windows Store. So you can actually get this whiteboard as an enterprise preview for RS2, which is the version you have existing. No, you don't have to get it. Sorry, RS1. So if you want to actually test this out, we're looking for more customers to preview. So you don't have to do an creators update to get this. You can get this today. I'll send a link to you, but you obviously have to have a Surface Hub, Office 365, OneDrive for Business.
Is there going to be any hub-to-hub type whiteboard capabilities?
Yes.
Yes, that's exactly what this does.
Or hub to Skype?
Yeah.
So yes, the reason for having two hubs is because that is what I wanted to show. But there is an issue with the back end, and I got a notification about that the other day. So I can't show it. Obviously, they're doing something for the launch on the 23rd. So who's interested in having the enterprise preview on their current hubs? Okay, so I will send details. I've got email addresses. All you need to do, I don't know the best way to do this is to come through me or do yourself. Probably come through me. I'll send you an email out. Put your hand up. Say I'm interested. I'll handle all the back end paperwork. And what they do is they take you'll need to nominate a live account, and it gets tagged against the Surface the whiteboard preview on the store. And then when you log in with that account and hit check for updates, it'll literally install the new whiteboard for you. You don't have to have the new creators update to be able to do that. There is going to be a new roadmap. So some of you I presented the roadmap to already, which was the RS2 roadmap. There's going to be, one of the things we're doing is we're going to constantly have a new roadmap, well not constantly, but we're going to have a current roadmap, let's call it a current roadmap, where all the stuff that we're going to be putting in will be available for, I think we'd imagine it's going to be under NDA for customers to be able to have a look at and probably provide feedback on as well. So things like the single sign-in authentication, what else, Neil, what else would be in a roadmap, things we talked about before. My mind's gone
I don't know what I'm allowed to talk about, so I'm not going to talk about very much.
Give me something. Then we just got not live tiles.
Yeah, the ability to change the home screen, the home style.
Yeah. So there's things in here, like if we go, like see these live tiles. Now obviously the start screen has changed. I'm going to go through all this, but the live tiles I can't really move them around yet. That's going to what we want to know is when is that going to be available, because we don't have to wait for a new Surface Hub software update. This is going to get pushed as an update and we control it from the back end. But when's that actually going to happen? So these are the things we want to put in the roadmap. The single sign-on, we can get access and there's persistent logins across all the productivity apps today. But when's the single sign-on through the Authenticator app going to be available? Now it's actually already in the hub, but we need to have an update to the Authenticator application before it's going to be available. And I think that's the sort of thing that's going to be in the roadmap as well. So a couple of resources I wanted to point out as well. I think I've got them preloaded here. Nice big walls, just in case you can't see it well enough. So this is a couple of sways. This is just around the origins of Surface Hub. And this is one that I put together. I'll give you access to it so you can see it. Have a read about it, but perhaps the really useful one, and this is accessible from anywhere, Surface Hub updates, and this gives, it's like a very quick link to all the updates we have on Surface Hub around demoing, digital transformation, creators update, some videos, there's some technical resources for tech community, troubleshooting, site readiness. It's just really easy. It's like one of the other TSPs put this together. It's just gathering all these resources we've got, which seem to be everywhere.
For those people that don't speak Microsoft, what's a TSP?
Sorry, technology solution. Someone like me. We put it all together in one place, so it's much easier to get your hands on. One location to get all this stuff. Okay. I will post that out to everybody. Now I can see Katrina's arrived. Hello, Katrina.
Hi.
Can you give us an update on what's new and good within training?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Katrina White. I'm the Surface Hub Product Manager. Thank you all for being here. Just wanted to reiterate that for the next 6 weeks, we've just got in market an offer that for those, for all orders of Surface Hubs that come in, we are going to offer some free end user training. That's about the value of $2,000. The reason we're doing that is Microsoft's leading that as opposed to partners necessarily delivering that. I feel very strongly, or we collectively as a team, but ensuring that once those of you that have bought a hub or are looking to buy a hub, the journey is you obviously purchase it, you then do your AV installation, and then there's a Skype for Business integration, and then what? Right? It's like the value of this device really comes with how it transforms the way your people work, how you unlock their creativity. And if people don't feel that they walk up to a hub and seamlessly know how to interact with it, it becomes another bit of tech that's a bit like daunting, and you end up having a low percentage of people using it. Our goal is that every person that works into every space where there's a hub, and I'm not saying it's a room, it might be a space, knows how to interact with a hub, make a call, connect with people, and leverage the applications that's on it. And so that's kind of at Microsoft's message. We want to get to market quickly. We put that offer in market. And then moving into FY18, we'll absolutely be looking to continue to work with our channel to make sure that they have the value services right through to the end of that customer journey, through to adoption, utilization, making sure you realize the value. There's a couple of partners that specifically work on this at the moment. They just do the adoption. Adopt and Embrace is a company that's an example of that we're working with really hard to make sure you get the return on the investment that you're making in this hardware and the solutions that drive it. Is that it?
All good? All right.
Thanks for being here, everyone. Really appreciate the investment in your time.
Okay, security. I'm getting asked a lot of questions around security information. So Hub's got a brand new device, it's got Windows 10 Teams on it. If it's going into FSI, if it's going into a high security environment, maybe it's defense, military, what have you, some of this is relevant, some of it's not, but we need a better security document. Because today what we do is we hand a 4-page document and say this is a security document, and it's literally 4 pages, and how do we cover every single facet of security in 4 pages around a new operating system and new hardware? So I'm working, and this is not an easy ask because it's so huge, right? Security questions are like so big and varied. How do you answer that? But I'm working on getting a white paper developed. So a Surface Hub security white paper that I can hand to a customer's IT department and say, here is best practices for Surface Hub security across the hardware and the software as well. It's not going to. It's not something I can quickly deliver because it requires like buy-in from all different areas of Microsoft. But it's something that's being asked for, and we will get it out as quickly as we can. Does anybody need security information like today? I know somebody mentioned it to me. Who was it? Maybe the core guy. Yeah, maybe the core guy. So because you work in IT, your IT department, you need that. So I will work with you to get what you need from a security perspective. It might be just getting someone from the engineering team on a call from the US to discuss the issues that you have, and then maybe I can mold that in some way into a document I can then give to you afterwards. But the bigger picture is we need something better than what we've got, which is 4 pages. So, does anybody have questions around printing from the hub? It seems to come up quite a bit. People want to be able to print, and initially didn't find a way to do it, but then I did find a way to do it. So if we go to, let me just go into the store here. Our hub is already open. But some of the manufacturers of printers have UWP apps. One that I found is Brother and HP both have apps in the store around printing. And I did get someone else to test this for me.
Does anyone here want to print from the hub?
Yes.
Can I understand a bit more about why? What do you want? What's the scenario as to why you want to print from the hub?
So, HRI, we have a bunch of scientists. Some scientists are quite, how do I say, progressive in how they operate. Some are less than progressive. They've been doing what they do for professors, they've been doing what they do for a very long time. And you can give them every tool under the sun when it comes to doing what they do. 9 times out of 100, on a piece of paper. So, yeah, right now it's a question of email, go to email, open the attachment, in PNG, if that's default to some random thing, I have to then go back and open something else, and then go to print, and then go to start pasting up and then print. It's a pain in the ass. So yeah, obviously in that scenario, for professors that would like to have buttons that says print, that'd be great.
Okay. HP have an app. It's available for Hub. It's signed for Hub. So if you've got HP printers, you can install this UWP app and connect to your printer, providing it supports it. Brother also have one, but it's not signed for Hub. But if people have Brother printers, I can ask them to sign it for Hub. So there are ways to print from the Hub that I have discovered.
So right now it's as another application, right? It's
Yes,
not
it's an application.
It's not a feature of the.
Yeah. So what would you like? What would you like to see?
I think it was more about the feature, not an application, because otherwise they will get confused. You know, the list of the application is growing and growing.
Yeah.
For each bit and piece, we have an application. It's much better if it's coming
Natively within the operating system.
Yes.
So from whiteboard, you want to be able to
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
Kind of
the
goes
email.
against the grain of what we're doing, like moving towards the future. But I do understand the challenge. Yeah.
I can understand what you're saying, but at the same time, it's a grade. It depends on how you're approaching the problem. But for us, it's to communicate.
Yeah.
So, you know, and then to gain value. So, yes, it's a great electronic.
Would you store it electronically as well?
Yeah, of course. I mean, and some people, you might have a room full of people, and maybe 4 out of 5 people take the PNG and say, awesome, put one page and say,
Yeah.
like, although, having said that, it's not really clear what you can do with that opposed to export and license there. But then if you want to print it, like I said, it's quite complicated to print.
Yeah. If you're using OneNote, obviously it integrates. But
Even so, it integrates, but when you actually open it up, it's not.
Maybe if you think of it as a transition phase.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to understand kind of how we get to that point and what the challenge is.
And in some ways, because I've never seen any working example where we've gone from plain white to a document somewhere, it stays in the document.
Hello, Matthew.
Hi Phil, hi everyone.
Hello.
You had me on the line there. We tried calling you before and you weren't there, but that's okay.
You're a little bit earlier than I expected.
Yes, but sorry, you've obviously rushed back to your seat, sat down and been waiting for the call. So do you want to just introduce yourself, Matt, and then feel free to send some content, and if you wouldn't mind just talking about the local system integrators program that you're running, of which nsquared is the first one.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. My name is Matthew Schmidt. I'm based here in Singapore. I lead a program called Surface Business Transformation. And really what that is, it's about creating new user experiences through applications for our first-party devices, such as Surface and also Surface Hub, which I know you're all sat in front of, seeing me on, I think, an 84-inch display at the moment. So what I do is I work closely with our partner community, like Dr. Neil from nsquared, to create new experiences that really harness that power of the technology. So it's about investing in you as customers, understanding how you'd like to really evolve the product, its capabilities to meet with some of your transformational aspirations. So that's me, that's what I do. I lead that program across Asia and work very closely with Phil and also Dr. Neil, who I saw in the background there as well.
Stick your hand up, Neil. Okay, he's going to send some content, Matt.
Yeah, I will do. I'll just okay, let me know when you can see this, Phil.
Okay. Alright, good stuff.
Yep, so you can see that hopefully just reiterates what I just explained to everyone in terms of the Surface Business Transformation Initiative. It is open to everyone sat there that's a customer. I believe some of you may already have invested in Surface Hub and actually some may be considering investing in Surface Hub. So this program is very much focused on driving transformational experiences, as I said, for our first-party devices. Do you want me to carry on, Phil?
Yeah. Are you going to talk about? Oh, yeah. Okay. You're going to talk about.
Yeah. So I guess just to sort of put it into context, the program that we run globally has seen a lot of success through this Microsoft fiscal year, and we look at it in 4 pillars, which are very much aligned to Microsoft's digital transformation story and go-to-market in terms of the way in which we engage with our customers. So if I look at the 4 pillars, we first of all focus on how we help our customers engage your customers or their customers, and we've seen a number of successes with this program from around the world. As you'll see, there's some Chinese, Taiwanese, American, for a lot of the beer fans there's also Carlsberg from Denmark. So we've invested here by creating applications that are designed for Surface or Surface Hub that really, as I said, give a better experience, an enhanced experience for that customer through the way in which they engage with their customers. And SMBC in Japan, they're actually utilizing Surface Hub in some of their high-end, high-net-worth customer branches, where a customer can come in and interact with an application designed specifically for investment portfolio, managing funds, and really getting a sense as to what the market is doing. Then we look at how we empower your employees to be more productive, and we've got a number of examples with automotive companies such as BMW, Shiseido again from Japan, just in terms of looking at how they and their marketing department collaborate more together as a team. So that really empowers the employees to deliver a better experience and a better outcome. If I look at optimizing operations, this is where we've created proof of concept applications to allow our customer to actually really enhance and, as it says, optimize the way in which they're working internally. And I'll come back to a really great user experience we have from Tokyo Metro in a short while. But effectively, these customers are looking at how they change some of their business processes that may have traditionally been worked and managed through sort of whiteboards, flip charts, very kind of legacy processes and systems. And then finally, how our customers are transforming the product and the service that they're delivering to their customers. And you'll see something for sports fans there that you'll recognise in terms of Cricket Australia. This is us engaging with a third-party partner to build a sporting application for that customer to deliver a better coaching and player experience. Now, I referenced Tokyo Metro. What I wanted to share with you now is the proof of concept that we had built for a partner in Japan with Tokyo Metro as the customer in mind. So we engaged with Tokyo Metro and the partner to look at how they can transform the way in which they're currently delivering a command center sort of scenario, a command center use case. At the moment, and what it was kind of prior to this, was very whiteboard, telephone orientated. We've transformed that experience by delivering an application built for Surface Hub on both 84 and 55-inch platforms, whereby a centralized command center will have an 84-inch hub deployed. They will deploy 55 inches hubs across the 200 plus stations across Tokyo. And this gives a real-time indication as to the operation of those networks, those platforms, those trains, those stations, and it allows the station commander at a local level to look at what's going on, but more holistically from a centralized perspective, look at the overall operation of the network. Now, anyone who's been to Japan or familiar with Tokyo in terms of transportation system, uptime is critical, and this was all around optimizing that operation of the train system. So just as a quick sort of scenario here, what I can do is I can see the train directions indicated by the blue arrows or the arrows. Anything that's in red is clearly a problem that I need to address, but if I needed to isolate a particular line, I can just go in, touch the screen, isolate a particular line. So me as an operator on that particular network, I can actually see what's happening at that point in time. If I then come back and want to look at it from more of a centralized position, I can see that I've got a lot of red, and a lot of situations seem to be occurring on the Z line or the purple line, so I can isolate this. Now what I see here is I see the trains, I see a number, and I also can see where the incidents are. So again, through the application, I'm using my Surface Pen here, I can just tap on a train, and that first of all gives me the status of the train. It tells me where it's traveling from, so it's between station 12 and 11. I also have here at the bottom that it's model number 8000, so that's the actual train itself, the locomotive that's running, and that gives me a little bit more information. Now I can see that's heading to station 11, so if I click on the station, what this then brings up is it brings up the opportunity to place a Skype call directly from the application, either to the command center, which is the bottom one here, or to the station manager, and I can get in contact with them to immediately sort of see what the issue is, or to get a status of the actual service. If I go across to the left-hand side, what we have here is again those isolated problems. And I can click on the first issue, which appears to be a mechanical issue, indicated by the icon in the top left. This gives me a little bit more information about what's happening, where the issue is happening, and also some notes that have been taken from the station itself. They've even placed an image of where the issue is. It's in a particular tunnel, so I can come out of that. He says, so I can come out of that, and then actually if there's been an update, what I can do is I can take the pen and I can say, okay, at 16:45 it was all cleared, and I can obviously ink. I'm doing this particularly badly, but I can ink in there that it's all cleared. That then replicates with the station commander. It replicates also with it's captured centrally by the overall administrator, and they have issue open, issue closed, and it just allows them then to sort of keep track in terms of where this this situation is progressing. Yes, Phil.
What's all cleared in Japanese?
Yeah, your Japanese is terrible, man.
So
that was, believe it or not, that wasn't Japanese writing, that was in English. But anyway, thank you for. So that really is just a really quick overview around a proof of concept application that this program, Surface Business Transformation, has helped enable. It's allowed our customer to really see the art of the possible using the Surface Hub technology combined with Skype for Business as well as Azure in terms of hosting this. So overall, we're kind of bringing together and really enhancing the experiences the customer could have.
Okay, any questions from that? I know BAI guys, we'll probably do an introduction so you get a chance to meet them face to face. And sorry, so we can get you in full
Okay.
glory. Okay. Well, if there's no questions, I appreciate you coming on, Matt. And
Okay.
have a good one. See you later.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks everyone. Enjoy. Thank you.
Cheers. Okay. If there's any questions around app development, Matt's the man. I can put you in touch if you're thinking about something, and I'm sure we can do via. Actually, what is the process? I never actually asked him that. What is the process for approaching into this program?
For the integration?
Yeah.
That's a great question. How did we get involved? We've been building apps for Hub and I guess showcasing some of the stuff we've been doing, and Microsoft found out about us and said, "Hey, you guys should be part of the program."
Clearly clarify that a bit better there. Okay, let's go. I just got a notification saying I should talk about the 5-year extended warranty from Sibel. Do you know, is it out? Is it ready to rock?
Apparently.
Okay, well, 5-year extended warranty is ready to be purchased. Apparently it just got cleared, so hot news. I think that'll probably help you guys. Let's jump into the creators update and actually show you what's coming. Who have I presented to who's seen the creators update? Okay, excellent. You're going to be really bored. But feel free to ask me hard questions. So, a couple of UI changes. You can see, we can start actually with Skype for Business. I don't know if you noticed the UI change here, but the call controls are now at the bottom. So we lost it. See, remember?
Phil, can I suggest we do it on this one? Because
Yeah.
this one's actually being recorded, so anyone wants to watch it
sorry.
afterwards.
I just thought because it's a nice thing, we say 55, but it's actually like 355. So Skype for Business. So the call controls have changed. You've lost the sidebars, which can be a little annoying if you don't have 6-foot arms, although you can go over here and you can swap it to the other side. Okay, so but you're getting real estate back. The whole idea is with the Skype for Business controls, we're taking a couple of inches in the sidebars, which meant it lost some screen real estate. Now you can choose to minimize it completely, and it'll appear down in the taskbar. So it's a bit more desktop-y.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Is that going to be a problem? Do we need to train anybody on how to use that?
Can you hit the taskbar, or do you have to go through the app?
No, you can. I mean, you can initiate it from the home screen's changed as well, right? So, first of all, you've got the the calendar on home screen, and you've got your 3 most commonly used applications, of which Skype for Business is there, because you can't really mistake it. The thing I would be careful of is you notice at the bottom the buttons here have changed as well. So we've got end session. You've got to be careful. I find that this is a bit too close together, and if I'm not really watching what I'm doing, I'm hitting end session. I'm going to know if I hit end session. But it is clear because it's on the front that I don't want to end the session, right? Whereas before it was kind of over here in the corner. So that's front and center. So on the home, Skype for Business is where
So
we're
can
at.
you jump to it from the taskbar there?
Yeah.
Has the telepresence experience changed once you're on a video call?
You mean like the number of people that you can
Yeah,
see
like
on
it'd
video?
do 2 and then a panoramic view. I didn't.
Not yet.
Not really
Not
loving
yet.
that, I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is the update to the back end media stack to be, I think it's maybe one version behind what's current on the full desktop client. And the idea is that you'll get the 4-person video coming soon.
Yeah.
Again, see, these are the sorts of things that when we ask corporate for the roadmap, want to know when that's actually going to be in the roadmap. So for the 6th of June, hopefully we'll have some idea when that feature, which is the 4-person gallery for video, is going to be available for people to see and use.
Is there any Skype for Business functionality in the RS232 commands now?
Oh, geez, no, I don't know. I need to take.
What's the
take
question?
So,
If you want to do AMX or Crestron integration for AV control, the API set is fairly limited. You can change HDMI inputs, source inputs, but you couldn't, for example, expose the list of Skype meetings on a Crestron touch panel for one-click meeting. So it's not your classic app development, but it is a very common AV scenario.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
I'll take it. I'll note it. I'll take note of it. I'll find out for you. So also on the home screen, these we haven't been able to pin these, but these are going to be pinnable. Again, I'm waiting just to find out. I'm just waiting to find out when this is going to be controllable. Obviously, the functionality is there; that we can move them around. But how they will be actually controlled is via an MDM. So you have to have a mobile device management platform to know what to pin to the tiles, to the start menu by tiles. Yes.
Does that go with the landing page as well?
I don't think so.
You can customize that on the device, but I don't think that's going to.
So welcome screen customization.
Yeah. So you can do it, what do you say?
No, I'm saying I'm taking a note of it to find out.
Oh, you're saying the icons that appear on there?
Yeah, like it'd be really handy to have tips. You've got the tips there, you have to go to the device.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this person will
If that was the
go.
first thing they saw, yes.
And if we're doing custom apps as well, we probably want a welcome page with vehicles.
Yeah.
This is the customized one we have, no? Already.
So it's just like
This that is the customized, no?
Physical buttons on
Yeah.
the background.
Yeah.
So just so you know, right, I got this image on Friday, right, I have not really had a chance to play much with it either. So you're seeing the result of what I've actually experienced, which is like a couple of hours use. So I don't have all the answers, but keep them coming. I'll find out. If you've got questions, I'll find the answers for you.
Is there going to be some sort of single sign-on, swipe cardy,
Yep.
NFC type?
Oh, yes, that's the right place. So my meetings and files, right? Today, right this moment, it's going to ask you if you've got a bunch of attendees in the meeting. It's going to pick who you are, but ask who you are. You select who you are, and then the experience will be you'll have to do. Actually, if you're not already signed in, it's going to ask you to expose your credentials on screen.
So you need a keyboard.
So here's the deal, right? We're waiting for an SSO. The SSO Authenticator app is to get an update, which will then allow you to use it for the Surface Hub. Again, something that's going to be detailed on the roadmap. Now this isn't all the bits are in the hub, right?
Yeah.
But there's other bits of the Microsoft ecosystem that require to be updated in order for it to work seamlessly. So that's what we're waiting for.
So MSAs, the Microsoft accounts for consumers, have already had switched on in the US phone-only auth. So no passwords are required anymore at all, if you want to select that option. To move that to Active Directory takes some work on the back end, and that's being undertaken now. And you'll get to a point where you'll put in your username, you won't put in a password, something will pop up on your phone, you'll auth on your phone, and that'll log you in.
So if you're already running MFA now, then you can't use any of those features to do that? Multi-factor auth?
Yes, you can.
You can.
It'll get subsumed into, so using Azure MFA? Yeah, it'll get subsumed into that eventually. I don't know timeframes, but I don't think we're that far away. There's a big push to do this.
When you've got my meetings and files that you're showing in, is that as in the Surface Hub's account?
No,
the user?
The user that signs in account. So you can see I've signed in here using my Microsoft account. It was showing meeting, not showing, but it's showing all my
That's
files.
nice.
Right?
Yeah. It's like when you get an office, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then if I switch to PowerPoint, it's automatically signing me into PowerPoint. And I've got all my OneDrive files here. Again, same with, do I have OneDrive open? Yeah, so there's OneDrive. Again, it asked me to sign in, I hit sign in, but it's already cached my credentials, so it just signed me in. And this is everything that's in my email.
For the session that you're logged on
The
until
session that I'm logged in, as soon as I hit end session, all the cache credentials get wiped, and you have to sign back in. So the SSO Authenticator piece is coming. It's not initially. Actually, what I expected was when it hit the update servers, RS2 hit the update servers for Australia, that we'll be very close to having SSO authentication by the app released. Okay. So. Start menu, taskbar, I'm done, it's not I'm done, it's end session. Whiteboard. So we've got a brand new whiteboard, and the reason I had another hub here is because I wanted to be able to show the sharing. But they broke the back end, it's not officially released yet because it's supposed to be released on Wednesday. But what you'll do is you'll be asked to sign in, you'll sign in, I've actually already done it for this one.
So it's not using Skype to do that?
No.
It's a different service.
Right. So you can't initiate that inside a Skype call, obviously.
You can share your screen.
present desktop.
Yeah, you can. So you can. You share your screen, and then another Surface Hub wants to start collaborating. You'll be able to see inside the session when you present the screen what the other side's doing.
You won't go to collaborate back though?
Yeah.
You can.
There'll be two-way inking.
Okay. Through another app that's running over the top.
Well, it's this app.
app.
It's this app. This is the whiteboard.
So that's OneNote login. What are you doing there?
So I'm
It's
just
your
using.
Office 365 login. Yeah.
But, so we've got the devices logins themselves. Excuse me, for Skype for Business.
If you want to walk up and start using it now, then you can start using it now. You can send content from the device account to your email address. You can save it to USB via the Atlas File Store. If you want to start the two-way session, then you have to sign in because it's using OneDrive as the storage location for the whiteboard. Yeah, look, I again, on the roadmap on the 6th of June, I want this to be detailed out exactly what the roadmap is for the whiteboard. They pulled the whiteboard out the operating system, they untangled, unstitched it, and now it's in the store. We know what is coming because there's a whole bunch of stuff. Even today, I noticed additional stuff. Like Ink to Table wasn't there yesterday, so they're constantly adding updates to the whiteboard. Even the preview mode that's going to be available upon launch. And again, when it hits the update servers for Stuart, I fully expect this will be actually live, not a preview. And in actual fact, I also expected that you'll be able to start using the whiteboard from Windows 10 devices. Again, I'll wait to see. But today, Enterprise Brew, you can do the session, which you can't demo today. So, Ink, obviously, if you've got Ink to Shape. So there's tons of stuff. There's tons of features that are coming in whiteboard. Okay, Ink to Table. I just saw it today. I have no idea what it does. None whatsoever.
Draw a table.
Try drawing grid.
You got to switch off the shape.
Okay. I like it. And then you can
add some rows at the top, see? Plus and minus.
Right, okay.
Yeah, didn't you say if you could draw a picture, it goes out to pin?
No, it does shape recognition.
So lots of different colours. Anybody want to have a go?
Draw the big one.
The big one. Well, anybody want to have a go on the big one? Okay, so I'll send you the link for the Enterprise Preview, and you should be able to get access to this today. You don't have to upgrade to RS2 to be able to get access to it. And obviously do your sharing. And I'll still have to work out exactly the methodology, but if you talk to me, I'll help you figure this out. I've literally just seen it.
So what would that workflow be for the multi-party whiteboarding? You go whiteboard?
Yeah, whiteboard,
Yeah.
share. If you're not already signed in from the home screen, it's going to ask you to sign in.
Right.
Once you're signed in, it'll be like this one.
Okay. And there's no way
Start
for it to
session.
sign in and using the Skype credentials?
No.
That's what it is.
Right.
So what does start session? So you've signed in, you start session, what does it do then?
I don't know. If I start session, it's not going to
It gives you the opportunity to invite people to that session.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, just right now, if you hit start session, it actually crashes.
So the collaboration's in the one on the whiteboarding app as opposed to any other app.
Correct.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
using-
Between whiteboard app, whiteboard app, whiteboard app, it could be in multiple locations.
And it's using obviously OneDrive as a storage location for the whiteboard, which means you can then open them up in OneNote, right? On your PC, you can open up in OneNote and do what you need to do with it. So, like, there's a whole bunch of stuff, features coming for the whiteboard. I need to, yes.
This is going to sound quite ignorant because I haven't got one of these tools, but something I'd like to be able to do something like this for project planning and stuff is to be able to swipe screens and jump between screens, like you can on a, dare I say it, an Apple. You can switch screens so you've got new spaces. Is that possible?
You mean so within the whiteboard, or two different apps? So you can like.
Well, what I want, if I was on a Mac screen, a laptop, I would literally put 3 fingers on the board and swipe, and I get a new workspace.
Oh, I
So
see.
as many workspaces as I want.
Right. But the idea behind whiteboard is that it's actually an infinite workspace.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you can keep scrolling and scrolling, and zooming in and zooming out,
So
and creating more and more space.
It's an idea for an addition, though.
Yeah.
Because
What would you call? What's it called?
It's called Spaces.
And it is a new whiteboard. page.
Because the thing with the infinite space is you might be chasing your ideas wherever you have them in blocks. You can scroll backwards and forwards, number.
You're really looking for paging.
That's it.
Yeah. The original Skype whiteboard does that.
LRS.
So when was the last time the Skype whiteboard got updated?
Oh, ages ago.
Ages ago.
I Windows desktop, that's the desktop version of Windows 10. You got the Windows desktop, you can switch between the desktop. Essentially, that's the technology there.
Yeah.
Right.
Step up in the middle.
Kind of. It's not quite, because
That's just
what
good. That's
is
good
multiple
too.
instances of whiteboard kind of.
That's it.
Just new pages.
Only that's the way how it works. Certainly we're working with
So I would keep very close eye on what's happening with whiteboard, because I know that there's discussions between various teams at Microsoft about how this is going to be used. All sorts of different applications.
Hopefully it makes its way to Skype.
I know that the commonality around Surface devices is the pen, right? We didn't have a whiteboard before. It was just kind of built into OneNote, so they extracted out. We're going to use it for lots of different things. Okay. What else from the UI perspective? I can't really think of anything off the top of my head. Maybe this is a good point just to jump into maybe some feedback around these sessions and how we're going to run them in the future.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that?
Let me do an intro and I'll talk about stuff we're doing, and then we can talk about kind of what we want to happen with the user group, I guess.
I was going to talk about some of the back end, but you go and then jump back to the slide. Okay.
So nsquared has been working with devices like this, and actually prior to this we worked with a precursor device that Microsoft bought, a company called PPI, and we've been very focused on how do we create spaces where multiple people can engage at the same time with digital content but get away from their personal devices. One of the big challenges we see in lots of meeting spaces is people rock into the meeting space, they flip open their laptop, yeah, I'm talking about you, and and they disengage, right, from the conversation that's happening. And I'm sure you see this in your organizations, right, is people come in, they have their tablets, their phones, their laptops, and they disengage. And what we want to do is create spaces where people don't want to bring their personal device, and the content that they need for the meeting is in a shared screen. And this is an example, a great example of a shared screen space. And so our focus has been very much on how do we create applications, and we've been doing this for about 8 years now, that focus people as a group on digital content, so they have what we call the lean-in effect. They lean into that content as a group and they can work on it together. And the Hub is a great example of a device that enables that. You have 2 pens, you can actually support many more than 2. We ship with 2, or Microsoft ships with 2, but you can support many more, and you can support hundreds of fingers on the screen at the same time. It's difficult to build an app that you can think of that would need hundreds of fingers, but certainly 5-6 people, and in an education scenario, getting 6 students up on a big screen like this doing something together can be very interesting as well. So it cross-cuts from education into corporate spaces. So one of the things we've been thinking about, and to kind of talk about your sign-on challenge, is how do people get their content? And Microsoft has sort of solved this by giving you the ability to sign into your application or into the Hub. But when Phil signed in, he's signed in. Then how do I get my stuff? This is a shared experience, right? This isn't Phil's experience, this is our experience. And so this is a challenge that we've been thinking about how to solve. And last Friday we released into the store an application called nsquared Documents. And nsquared Documents lets me take an NFC tag that's been tagged to my Active Directory account. I do have some security here, so I'm just going to hide this, which Jess will record. And I put in my PIN number, and it knows that it's me. And it finds my stuff on SharePoint and OneDrive. And actually, Jess, have you got a tag handy?
Yep.
So this is me and my stuff, and I can start accessing my stuff and digging into my OneDrive. But at the same time, in the same session, Jess might want to log in. And then she can put her PIN in. And hopefully she put her right PIN in.
Yeah.
And then now she can start accessing her stuff as well. So as a group, we can start working together using the content that we're bringing from our cloud stores into a conversation rather than just being one person. So this has been something that we're focused on, and we've been working on, and we just went into the store on Friday. So we're excited about that, and we hope that you guys want to go and trial it. It's available for free trial to kick off. You can download it and trial it. You will need writable NFC tags, which are pretty cheap, and you can buy those online. If you have trouble getting hold of them, let us know. I'm sure we can help you find some.
So what sort of resources can you access? You say OneDrive and...
Right now it's your Office 365 store, right? So it's your OneDrive for Business and SharePoint sites. Going forward, well, we're interested to know what you want.
What would you like?
Yeah.
Have you thought about doing it with Hello? Like facial recognition?
We can't with this device natively. So we would have to put a second camera on because these cameras are not secure enough to do Windows Hello. You need a camera that can do depth, and these cameras are only color cameras, they're not depth cameras. So if you look at like Studio or Surface Book or the new Surface Pro, they have a depth camera as well as a color camera on the front, and then you need that for, you could do a fingerprint reader, again it would be an auxiliary device.
How does it visualise the SharePoint team sites? Is it folder structure?
It's just folder structure.
Can you enable and disable the pin? Like you have to have the second off.
No, so we did think about this, and initially we actually didn't have the pin at all. There's a lot of security concerns with that, right? The pin, like if I lose this, then you have access to all my stuff. If I lose it now, you need my pin as well, so the chances are you're not going to get that. And the pin, we don't lock the pin to a specific number of numbers, so it's a random, it's up to you to put how many numbers, it's a minimum of 6. But that means it's a much wider range and much harder for you guys to, or for hackers to get into it, or for someone who finds my tag to get into it.
So what did you want to see additional? I've got a question to anybody. What did you want to see additional? Is there additional services you want to be able to access by this? You know, maybe Box, or Dropbox, or
network drives.
network drives, or
Network
SharePoint drives.
It's for, exactly, it's for the companies which are, they are not yet in Office 365,
Yeah.
yeah? But
Yeah.
OneDrive. So what would be the solution for that use case?
And what do they use for their cloud store?
It's not yet the cloud, so for example, right now we are talking
Has
about
anyone told them it's
SharePoint.
2017? But anyway, yeah.
Yes, yes, we are aware about this, but it's because of the security.
They're scared of the security. Okay,
No, it's
but-
more, it's more. It's about behaving as a global organization, the decisions are a little bit slower.
Yeah. So they would like their own internal network shares.
Yeah.
Okay, that's doable.
So can you talk a bit about the security involved in building something like this? Because no one's done it really well until now, but it took some time to put this together.
Sure. So, I mean, there's a few things involved. First of all, it does work with Active Directory, and we were kind of concerned that we made that it work well with Active Directory. So if you don't have a tag and you want to create a tag, you'll sign in, you'll see that standard sign-in that you get, the Active Directory sign-in. What are you pointing to? No, I don't need another tag. I'm not going to actually program one. But you put in your details and you sign in. If you've got multi-factor, it will go through that and it will ping your phone and ask for auth on that. And then once you've done it, it will actually come up and ask you to write your tag. So you do all of that. Once you've written your tag, or as part of that, you put your PIN in.
So you're going to write them on this device?
So you don't need to do it on this device. You can do it on anything that has NFC and Windows 10.
Oh, it's going to take a while to do 1,000 tags on this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So that's actually how many tags would you want to do, and would you want some way of programmatically being able to swipe a bunch of tags?
Preload.
Yeah.
Could you integrate with
Yeah. Well, it depends what your usage scenarios are.
Yeah.
Right?
Could you integrate with existing building access tags?
No, and there's a reason for that. Is that we actually write. We don't write anything about your auth to this tag. This tag just has a unique ID that then we encrypt your auth token up into the cloud. So this just is an access point to get to that, but you need the PIN to decode the cloud access.
So why couldn't you use an access pass? They've got unique numbers on them.
because we're not in control of the numbers. And so you might have an access pass for your organization that has the same number as your access pass for your organization.
So you can't multi-tenant your kind of...
We would have to change the way we do the factory. Yeah. It is possible, but yeah.
I think a lot of customers would like to use their own.
They would like to use their own. So the other thing that I've noticed and we discovered is there's NFC, and there's NFC. And so it could well be that a bunch of you have what you think are NFC cards in your pocket, but they're not actually compatible with this NFC reader. And that's a huge challenge. And so, we decided that it's probably better that people get their own writable tags.
So is anything getting stored in AD as part of this?
Yes, so what gets stored in AD as part of this is that you have given this app access. So you can go back into AD as an admin and say remove access, or as yourself as a customer, you can go into your AD management and remove access. So say you lose a tag, you could get to a point where you say, oh, I lost my tag, I want to disable access. You go to your AD, you disable access to this app, and then you can create a new tag and it will create a new access. Yeah.
What will be the cost after the free trial of this application?
After the free trial, right now I think it's up in the store at...
Okay. Per
Just
month,
months off.
year?
Yeah.
I think it's
No, that's just a perpetual license fee right now.
So that's per hub, right?
Yeah.
So you need to install, well,
It's actually per MSA, but
okay.
you can only have 10 devices
Right. So
on an MSA.
how are you wanting customers to deploy this then if they had say 20 hubs?
Come and talk to us.
So for what is the number?
So this
For
is
what number?
that's actually US dollars,
10.
and that's a maximum of 10.
For more than 10?
10 hubs.
For more than 10,
Discuss.
come and talk to us.
We can discuss
Yeah,
further.
absolutely.
Obviously anything you need additional then Neil's the man to talk.
Any other questions about that?
Can this functionality be embedded into another application?
It could be, yeah. Come and talk to us and we can work on
So if
making
you-
that happen.
If you're thinking about other applications that maybe you want to develop for Hub and people that use it access via NFC, there's probably things that we can do, Neil can do, the app to be able to make it simpler to log in. The biggest challenge we have, and obviously one of the primary things we've changed is the ability to do single sign-on even from the first part capability on the Hub itself. But we want to be able to make it easier for additional third parties to be able to, for people to be able to use the Hub as well, and securely authenticate themselves to get their stuff. Maybe it's not from AD, maybe it's from a different source within the application. Okay.
But it was kind of the number one challenge that we saw everyone that was getting was facing, was how to, as a group of us, how do we get access to our stuff? Your stuff, my stuff, his stuff, her stuff.
If you've got a cloud-only identity and no on-premise AD, does it work?
Yes. Yeah, if you're just using a zero AD, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
There's one more thing, document I happen to have in my OneDrive that I want to show people and talk about, which is how many people here have got an 84 hub? 84 inch hub. Right. Why is this not loading? It's just slow.
No, it's pre-production. Do you have it on?
It's on. I can try and log in on this one.
So, is it just a flyer? I can probably get
Yeah.
a flyer. Just off that. I'll get it. I love the bumpy stories.
So for the 84-inch hub, one of the big challenges is moving it around, and we discovered this was a bigger challenge than we thought. We're kind of fortunate. We're in an old building that has a huge goods lift in it, and getting the 84, we managed to get in there. But we know a lot of modern buildings don't even have an elevator that's big enough to get the device in, and so our hardware team have been busy working on a new product, which hopefully this one will load. But it's a stand that enables the device to swivel. And so you can actually, now it's not designed to be left like this, right? But it's designed to help you move it. And so this is a product that we are in the middle of producing right now. Olivia at the back there can help you if you're interested in getting hold of one. And we should have the first batch out, in 8 weeks or so? So she's taking pre-orders now. That first batch, I think, would probably be close to taken up, right?
So is that a trolley as well, like you stay permanently on that?
You could.
Or is it just for transit?
You did not do that.
Just for transit.
He wants you to mount it on the
So,
wall,
the etymology of this is, I kept seeing pictures of cherry pickers on LinkedIn. People, I got my 84-inch hub, and then there's a huge cherry picker trying to get it in, or a crane trying to get it into a building. This is just terrible, right? Terrible problem. Even at Microsoft, our lifts are so small we can't get an 84-inch, and you can't have 4 very large people hold at the corners because then it sags in the middle and it cracks the screen because it's very heavy. You have to support it from the middle and spread the weight out to the edges. So what I did is I actually found a company in Germany that made something like this, but they wouldn't ship them to Australia. So this is when I said, Neil, can you build me something here? Because I've got these pictures posted on LinkedIn and it's just not a good look. So I'm sure we don't have the other picture, but there's a Visa bracket where it mounts, right? It's bolted to the back of the bracket, and then once you swivel it around to these 3 axes, it's properly distributing the weight. Now I ran this past engineering, and they said, oh no, you can't do that. It's a great solution, by the way, great solution. Definitely, we want to try one as well, but no. So we're going to test this, right? I'm going to test this, but pretty much on this pre-production unit, I'm very confident.
Test it on yours, not mine.
Well, we've run all the numbers, we've taken it through multiple CAD simulations, and we've tested things on pre-prod hardware, and we believe that, what are we, 10 times over the current, what did Shannon told me it was?
Depends on the area, but the weakest point, which is a tiny little piece on the outside of one bolt, is I think 2.3.
So we're 2.3 times the weakest point capability. So we should be fine.
So just to be clear, I did not get engineering buy-in for this, right? So if the screen cracks, then the screen cracks. But if it's 25 grand to get a crane in, I know it's kind of, at least there's an option to get these things in. I'm happy to break a couple of pre-production unit testing this thing. So
We're giving you yours first.
yeah, that's the reason why. No one else wants to test it. But basically, if we can if I can get the pre-production unit off the ground floor into the 3rd floor at Microsoft, then good to go. I get some Surface Hubs myself, 84-inch in our building for me to use, which I haven't been able to. Yeah, that one's going to come off. I'm happy to use this as a demonstration as well, just to see it. But great solution.
Yeah.
And you don't. It's all, just to be clear, it's all motorized, right? There's no jamming fingers with knobs and stuff like that.
Yeah. So the turn is motorized and it moves up and down as well on an MCC. You can bring it up, and you can angle it at different angles as well to get through different space sizes.
It's but ugly, but you know what? You just have to get it to the mount point safely. Safety first. Sorry.
That's all right.
Can we go a little bit back to the application?
This one?
Because in this moment you are working on this hub and on that hub as well.
Yeah.
So if you are leaving the meeting, for example, anybody can come and see your documents.
Well, the whole point is that once you exit, right? So once I end the session.
Not. So it's going on if
It's
you
gone.
are in this session. Okay.
Yeah, it's only per session, right? And you can also do this. So I can also just delete myself, and now I'm left the meeting. You can't access my stuff anymore until I come back and tag back on. So you can do it that way, or you end the session and it will clear everything out. There's no credentials stored locally on the
And
device.
this is what you're saying that NFC is for 10 service hubs?
No, the NFC. This NFC can work on infinite number,
Okay.
right? But it's the app itself, the license
For the 10 service hubs.
is for 10, and that's limited to your MSA, to your Microsoft account that's attached to your units. That's a stored limitation, actually. We're just taking advantage of it.
Okay, any other questions around the app or the cart? Are we good with that?
Sorry, how much are the tags?
These tags, how much do they actually cost? Oh, they're like less than $1 each. They're passive tags. There's nothing smart about them.
Where
I bought a whole bunch on Amazon, but you can buy them on eBay. You can buy them a ton of places. You can buy them.
And this is for collaboration in the room, not virtual collaboration.
Yeah, well, our focus at nsquared is very much about people within the same space,
Yeah.
and how do we get people in the same room working together and away from their personal devices. And so giving them access to their own content on a shared screen is a very powerful way of starting that conversation.
Is there an estimate on the price of those controllers?
I'll ask Olivia. We do, but I don't think we've announced it yet. So give Olivia your card and she'll send it to you as soon as she's announced.
Yes, absolutely. Email us and I'll make sure that I'm updated.
Do we want to just talk about these sessions and how often we should run them and that type of thing?
So I guess the first question is around time. Like if is this something you want to do regularly, like get together and have conversations around the challenges you're having with Hub? Is this something you want to do again at some point in the future?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, so when? Next month?
No.
Next quarter?
I think.
So a quarterly type update? Now most of you are, I would say, probably in the IT professional space, is that right? So one thing we were thinking is, what if we were to do this, and then maybe next month we do one focused for developers, which would be a different audience, but developers building on Surface Hub. And then the following month we maybe do for people that are managing workspaces. And then, so essentially quarterly for IT professionals, it would be an event. And quarterly for developers building on the platform, it would be an event. And quarterly for people managing workspaces, it would be an event. But it would mean we would run a monthly event. You're welcome to come to all of them. But would that kind of make sense to you, or would you feel that you're missing out on something?
I'm not sure what you mean by workspace manager.
You don't know what a workspace manager is. So there are people in organizations who manage the spaces that people collaborate in, and
like RE&F facilities.
yeah, sometimes it's called facilities. There's different names for that type of person, but they're trying to work out how do we, if we're putting these into our meeting rooms, what should we be doing? How do we build up training? How do we build up support for this group of people? How do we make sure that these devices are well used?
So different organizations, different departments from the organizations own the hubs. We see some owned by IT, we see some owned by facilities. Sometimes the executives just own them because they've seen them just buy. So, you know, it's a question of who owns the hubs and who needs the most help with it.
So a distinct difference between the content you have for someone managing workspace and managing IT. I understand the development is different, but...
So IT might be more, you know, how do I manage 10 hubs via mobile device management platform? Facilities might be, you know, the cart, how to get it into the space, what's the AV requirement to be able to fit it out, what's the best practice when you put it in a boardroom that's 12 meters long?
How do you have a meeting using this?
Yeah.
What's the best practice? Yeah, okay, so there is some crossover. But it sounds like quarterly is a good cadence. Okay. What about time? Is this like, is 4 o'clock on a Monday afternoon a good time? What would be a better time? When would you prefer to do it, in the evening, at lunchtime?
This works for me.
Is Monday a good day?
Get away from the office early after shit.
I was very, Neil wanted to run it more towards the end, sort of borderline towards the end of the day, but I really wanted to have, the problem we've got is people attending, right? If you make it, I want to go home see my family at 6:30, I don't necessarily want to hang around, so 4 o'clock to say 5:30, 6 o'clock is a good time because you can sort of get the buy-in to come down and then still go home and see your family and not get in trouble.
Do you make this a Skype session as well?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah. So we're definitely recording them, and then we'll make them available online afterwards.
If it's Skype, means I can interact.
Yeah, no, I know, but then the interaction gets complicated when you've got lots of people connected and a room of people. So, yeah, I think I still want to think through how that might actually work. Like maybe if we were to have a second hub always at an event, and someone would be managing the conversations happening there.
Or broadcast it.
Well, broadcasting is different from making it interactive, right? So, well, that's what you're asking for.
Well,
right?
it'd be nice to have a question. I might listen to feedback
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Especially if it's a development forum.
In broadcast, are you happy just to ask questions via IM rather than having to
But you need
ask
someone
the
to
question?
manage that.
You need a moderator.
Yeah, okay. So, but any of us could be moderators,
Yeah.
right? But the fact that you're on the broadcast, you're still part of the meeting.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the asking questions is an interesting one. You know, we're going to put this online afterwards. How many people here would suggest that someone in their organisation goes and looks at it? Or if you couldn't make a meeting, would you go and look for it?
Yep.
So putting it online afterwards, separating that from doing it at live, has value as well. Okay, that's good to know.
Especially when you have more countries. For example, here we are talking about Oceania. So
Yeah.
we have plans for New Zealand as well, not only for Australia. Feel no. So I
So you
think
want to share
our
this
colleagues
with
there, IT services, yeah, exactly, they will be interested.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about possible subjects?
Yeah, topics.
Topics, yeah. So what are the things that are top of mind for you on Hub that you would like to have perhaps discussed in this type of forum? And bear in mind, we can bring in people remotely, like we brought in Matt, right? There's no reason why I can't bring in someone from the States, from corporate, what have you. But you know, what sort of topics, what sort of things you want to see? Is it third-party peripherals? Is it management, the back end?
All of the above.
All of the above. Could narrow it down, Tim.
It's always nice. Like what's coming up from what's on paper, what's on paper.
Roadmap.
Okay, so roadmaps. But as soon as I have roadmap, the thing is, once you present the roadmap, right, it probably won't change for another couple of months. And I will always present the roadmap to you guys since you're here as to what is coming. But it's not something that's going to constantly change. But yeah,
Integration
definitely.
for me.
Integration. So what sort of integration?
Everything. Physical install, programmatic aspects of it, third-party peripherals, Skype integration, all the stuff that customers ask.
Okay.
No integration with other devices in there?
Yeah, possibly.
Okay.
Within just the group we have here, and obviously there's a larger group, some people couldn't attend, are there stories that you want to share back or conversations you want to have just as a group rather than it being like a presentation? How interesting would that kind of forum be within a session like this? Or do you really just want content presented to you?
Definitely want to hear about that as well.
Yeah, so
ideas on how
other
to
people's.
promote within the
So
organisation.
case studies.
Yep.
Well, we do have a couple of case studies. There's one on the one in Northern Canada. That's all education. What other case studies do we have? The customer stories.
So, Bristol University just released one.
Yep, saw that one.
Our local one. We're on the lookout for local hub stories. So, as many of you go through your deployments and start to scale out, for me, the story is about representing how Hub is helping you transform the way you work. So, as a product manager, obviously, I have a commercial responsibility around the device and selling it, but really what I care about is how your use cases and your scenarios map back to essentially, a transformation, a digital transformation, a workplace transformation. So how you're empowering your employees, is it changing the way you can engage your customers as a result of the fact that your employees are collaborating better? Leveraging applications to optimize your operations, or transform your own products and services and how you go to market. So that obviously I'm very passionate about it, but I believe that a category like this can essentially shift that. And so as we get more success with Hub and we bring more in and sell more, we'll be looking to develop more local case studies. And for me, the applications are really, the collaboration and connecting people is pretty evident. But I think as we work more with our customers and develop applications and see the app ecosystem grow, I think that's really going to help unlock a lot of the potential use cases that are available.
So the next case study might be from this room.
Absolutely, I hope so. The only other thing I'd add is I think it was really interesting the point around, do we have like a workplace kind of audience and things like that. And I think for us, we, as part of our collaboration efforts, we're spending a lot of time around research, around workplace, around how people work, whether it be tech analysis research, Forrester, Gartner, all that sort of stuff. And so we can certainly, and that's really around bringing space, technology and culture together. So I think you mentioned this overlap, like as an IT person, understanding how a device and the supporting software and applications can help support the vision of your business around how they want to transform the way people work, I think really helps empower you guys. So we can share like kind of a lot of the statistics and the research we have around the opportunity there is to help unlock creativity and optimize and get the return on an investment on a device like that. So, and I think I agree, whether you're a workplace manager or an IT person, there's three legs of the stool, and then the HR or the cultural bit and how you do the change management so that people adopt it really, passionately. You get those three things together, it's pretty powerful. So we can certainly look at bringing some content that talks about that.
So I pulled up this presentation. It's Herman Miller.
Oh yeah. We work here locally with Herman Miller, but that is something we can. Why I'm telling you that story is because we are heavily invested around making sure we're working with partners and have partnerships with companies that can bring in that other element around space, around design. And one of my go-to-market priorities in FY18 is around how we work better with the corporate real estate companies, the architects, which resonates with Hub, but also devices like Studio. So it's not just about Hub, it's how our Surface family, we're definitely going to be going to market through those channels more, with more partnerships with both the Herman Miller and Steelcase, so kind of what you call a tier one sort of furniture company and services company, but there's a lot of tier two ones as well that a lot of startup companies are sort of working with to develop their new spaces and co-working. So there's a huge opportunity for us in the market.
So just as an example, there's various, in this slide deck, there's various room suggestions. So that's the clubhouse with your hub, and it's very social. Here's more of a formal environment with a workshop, and it takes you through all these different group scenarios and hub scenarios where you place them in various areas and what you might use those areas for.
I think this is really important, and I think it can seem really obvious, but I cannot tell you how many spaces I've been into and there's a hub with like a desk up against the wall beneath the hub, and so I think that like is technology come first or does the space come first? And I know in North Ryde, one of the early places we are going to put hubs is not in a room, but is in our open kitchen, kind of the corner of a kitchen area, to get that kind of, I guess in America, doing that water cooler impact, right? Where you run into someone when you're making a cup of tea, you can have very, very, really fruitful discussions. How do you kind of go, we need a whiteboard, quickly capture that in 15 minutes, and it creates a kernel for future creativity and things like that.
Are you seeing most of them on walls or trolleys?
A bit of a combination of both, actually. Interesting, some, I'll just share, be transparent, we're having a discussion around North Ryde, what we're going to do and what are the right rooms. Interesting, our first rooms to deploy are the ones that have tables at sort of standing height, so they're kind of more of a stand-up type environment. We're seeing many more stand-up meetings happen now. IT, and then interesting, I've hit a bit of I want a few more rolling ones, but we have limitations around support from an AV and IT standpoint, so we just need to go through those. We'll unblock those, but it was sort of a surprise for me that was so, obviously there's more risk with them being moved and things like that. So, and the training that comes with it, because if it's in a room, you book a room, it books the hub. But educating people on how to access that hub. But for me, where we want to put the rolling ones is more around actual more spontaneous collaboration. And capturing that moment, whereas the ones in the rooms or designated huddle spaces are more for when, I'm going to catch up with you and let's meet in that area that's going to be really conducive to collaboration.
Can I talk about the capability we've got at Uber?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
We've got service hubs, we've got 8 of them, we're getting on 8. We've got a customised trolley called a mopal, and it stands for mobile computer on wheels through Science Technologies. It's the world's first capability, but it's 4 hours of chargeable UPS. So we can carry this thing around living spaces.
How do you spell it?
Mocal, M-O-C, do it.
No, the OW.
Yep.
These ones Telstra sell.
Yeah.
Is this it here?
That's prototype 1.1.
Did you buy the stand direct from Mocal, or they distribute through?
We're the first ones to design to get it done.
Are they motorised?
No, it's all hand.
Right.
It's all weighted, so it's got 4 hours charging. So
They don't go up and down.
See,
no, they don't. You can adjust the height of it, but that's all manual. The ability that's given us, rather than having IT move around on a trolley and having to plug it in, it's always in charge. And with the RS2 coming up with Wi-Fi wharf, which is coming out.
yes.
So we can actually access our corporate network on that. And we're going to be doing some prototyping and some applications. Combining that capability is going to send us to another level of just even the subtlety of moving it around in the space. Is private, you can actually have a private room just in that space, open around, give it to lots of people have stand-ups, 15-minute stand-ups, rather than looking at a room, as Trina was saying, if you have got this mobile device, you can get each of them.
We've had some custom brackets made up to put some of the new Polycom Eagle Eye Director 2 cameras on for more boardroom style installs. So we've had complaints from customers that integrators sort of put them into rooms without really thinking about the size of the room and how a traditional BTC experience might work.
Yep.
So yeah, we've made up brackets so you can put a little more traditional boardroom corporate style camera technology.
Absolutely. And I think, what's exciting is there's, so many different use cases, and Hub can become part of an ecosystem of other technologies, or it can be literally the only technology in the room. So
Look, pictures. I was trying to find it on my LinkedIn profile.
So I might have to vet someone.
Do you want to just stand in front of the screen for a little bit?
Nice to see you. Okay.
Yeah, actually, I might just look away and I'll just disconnect.
On that topic, Tim's very keen on 802.1x authentication, which is in, I know you guys will be interested, is in RS2. I'm trying to get documentation around how it's actually configured, but I can't read this. In Windows 10 version RS2, 802.1x authentication for wired and wireless connections is enabled by default in Surface Hub. There's no configuration required, and Surface Hub will continue to function as normal. If you use 802.1x authentication, you must ensure that the authentication certificate is installed in Surface Hub.
That's the only tricky
You can
part.
deliver the certificate to the Surface Hub using the client certificate install CSP in the mobile device manager, or you can create a provision package.
there is.
So it's in there. And we need to test that out, Tim, but it is in there. The instructions, I'm still asking for bits of functionality, what I wanted was a delta between the features in RS1 to RS2 and an admin guide. So like, what would you call it? Like a change management log between the versions. And all they've done is they've added the stuff into the admin log, or the admin guide, so you have to troll through the whole guide to see what's changed. Seriously guys, just what's the customer going to do? They're going to want to look at the change log and get access to the device. They're not going to do it.
That's it there anyway.
It's very cool.
I put the stickers on myself, by the way. Very time consuming. Trying to get the bubbles out of it. But
Well, great way to get your brand, branding it.
It's on Capsters, right?
Yeah, those trucks, they've sort of got them from the States. They're not like you went there to Bunnings and got it. They're actually proper, because it supports a lot of weight.
Yeah, it's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And we've got the ability to actually redesign it too, so we're going to actually lower some of the batteries down below, so the similar batteries are very easy. So one person can move it. We say about 2 people. If they're a bit slight on to move around, but it's quite stable.
And that's a 55, right?
That's 55. We don't have any.
No. We'll do the 84, you do the 55.
All right.
So what was it? What are you going to use that for? Sorry.
There's no easy connection. Comes to home and also
On this one?
Look, for us it was the return on investment. So getting into the role, pretty much, you're looking at a room in a real estate. But I wanted to be mobile and have that flexibility in the it's not that much difference from the static car to having a battery in it. It's quite cost effective. And as I said before, we're going to be developing the application, so I think it's going to give us that extra flexibility. So for retail shops and things like that, we might be having custom-made apps and maybe rather than a concierge introducing a customer to a SME, maybe it's a walk-up service. Privacy, horses.
Okay.
Just scratched it.
Okay. I can talk about back-end stuff, but I really don't want to. It's what? It's
Maybe that's for the next session.
Maybe that is for the next session. We've been up for about an hour and a half. I think. Are we okay to? My voice is going.
Well, is there anything else anyone really wanted to get out of today's meeting?
Which is a bit of networking.
Yeah. Well, we can. That definitely can happen.
All right.
Thanks, Deb.
everybody for coming. I hope you got something out of it. And we will organise another one in due course with a different subject. Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thanks, everyone.